Okay, welcome to Lesson 3 in the SQL Fundamentals course. Okay, welcome to lesson number 3 in the SQL Fundamentals training course. In this lesson, we're going to go over the where keyword and talk about how to filter data. Okay, so on W3 Schools, there's some helpful information on the left-hand side if you click SQL Where. As you can see, the where clause is used to filter records, and is used to extract only those records that fulfill a specified condition. You can see an example here where, similar to our last example in the previous lesson, select star from customers, but it adds one more clause to that, where the country is equal to Mexico. So let's try that for ourselves here. So previously, remember, if we just had select star from customers, we would get 91 records. But the country can be a lot of different things. So the where statement, or the where clause is very simple. You just say where, and then you put a certain column name. So you're essentially saying, in the customers table, return every field, every single column name, but only return the ones where the column of country is equal to Mexico. And as soon as you run that, instead of 91 records, you get 5. Only 5 records had a customer of Mexico. One key thing to note, there is a single apostrophe around the word Mexico. If I was to take those out, watch what would happen. Error in SQL, no value given for one or more required parameters. I'm going to add some spaces. What happened there is essentially Mexico is what's called a string. It is a bunch of letters put together, right? So whenever you're searching for strings, whenever you're searching for letters, you have to put single apostrophes around the word. So you're telling SQL that you're not searching for a number, you're searching for a string. So that's why you need those apostrophes. If you don't have them, you're going to get errors if you're searching for a word. But let's change this up. There's also different postal codes, right? So let's say that you want to search for where the country is Mexico. You want all the records returned if the country is Mexico. But let's say you also want records where the postal code is 5023, 05023. So you have one, and that's it. So you should only return one result, right? 05023. I'm going to copy that. I'm going to get rid of the semicolon. It's not really required. How do you add multiple filters? What you can actually do is, and again, it doesn't matter if you go to the next line or if you stay on the same line, but I'm just going to say and postal code is equal to 05023. Now, do you put the single apostrophe around that or do you not? The answer is it depends. It depends on what data type this column is. So I don't know if this number is an integer or if it is a string. However, just my knowledge of databases, a postal code is not a number that you would add on top of another number, kind of like the dollar amount, right? Dollar amounts can be added, $100 plus $200. Postal codes are not that way. Postal codes are unique, so the chances are this is or treated like a string. So I want to put apostrophes around it and click run. And it works. So Mexico needs to be treated like a string. Postal code needs to be treated like a string. Now, due to your experience level, you may not know that. You may not know how to find that out. Well, SQL will tell you. If you take away the apostrophes and you try to run it, you're going to get an error, data type mismatch in criteria expression. So that's just kind of your hint that says, well, I might have typed it in correctly, but I didn't specify exactly what data type it was. And so it'll tell you, just use those error messages to help guide you. But I was hoping to show you that so you know that it can go either direction. I'm going to change this up. I'm going to take away postal code and run SQL and customer ID. Let's try that. I think that is going to be an integer. So let's say customer ID of 2 is the one that we want to return. I'm going to say and customer ID is equal to 2. I'm not going to put apostrophes around this one. And I was right. This is an integer. It's just a number. If I was to put apostrophes around this one, it would again throw me a data mismatch error. So I guessed correctly, but even if you get it wrong, you can fix it in less than 5 seconds. But that's how you filter information in a table. If you want to play around with that, you can go to any of these other tables, such as products, and delete the semicolon. You can't have a semicolon and then do a where statement. If you do that, you're going to run into an error like this, where product ID is equal to 2. Characters found after the end of the SQL statement. Yeah, this is not going to work. The semicolon, if you want to add it, has to be at the very end of your statement, and it'll run. You really don't have to have a semicolon, so I would recommend if you're playing around with this and moving things around, just take it off because you're going to forget it, and it's going to throw an error. So this works just fine. But yeah, where allows you to filter by a column and a criteria. If you want to add any, you can do and then throw another column name equal to something, and you can keep doing that. You can type and you can just keep adding criteria for as long as you want to apply all the filters that you need. So don't be worried about that. We'll go into a little bit more complicated situations later. There's other keywords you can use, but just know if you're just doing a straight filtering, it really is this easy. All right, well, thanks. And this was how to filter the data that you're pulling from a table. Stay tuned, and in the next lessons, we'll keep exploring SQL. Thanks.